Hello my dark ones, and welcome back to the Dark Venus channel. Now today's video is going to be all about Uranus transiting the sign of Gemini, what that means for each rising sign and what it means for the collective. So let's get started. Alright, so on July 7th, 2025, Uranus is going to ingress into the sign of Gemini. Now Uranus, ruling innovation, upheaval, revolution, great windfalls of change, is going to be moving into the sign of Gemini, which rules communication, foundational education, siblings, short trips. It's going to be moving into the sign of Gemini for the next 8 years, so we can expect lots of change in these different areas. So first things first, we're going to be looking at communication. So in terms of communication, we're going to start to see a lot more AI generated content. So this could be things like more AI rappers, AI models, AI artists in general, people making things with AI. So AI movies, more AI commercials, as people were seeing through the Super Bowl this past year. Everyone's thinking like, hey, what's going on with these commercials? They're AI. There's going to be a lot more AI generated content, so we're going to have to get used to that. Second to that, we're definitely going to have a lot more AI assisted content with journalism. So old traditional journalism is going to kind of go out of the window, and the way that we start to see our news and how we get our news is definitely going to be changed for sure. Deep fakes and the abundance of deep fakes, there's definitely going to be that, so we definitely need to be looking out for some of that technology as well. And then so we'll definitely be seeing more debates around censorship, free speech, and debates around the control of information. Now, going into education, there's definitely going to be a lot more AI tutors, and a lot of things are going to be self-paced. So the traditional education system is probably going to struggle to keep up. I could also see things where people are going to start to have a lot more of an appetite for bite-sized information, learning information very quickly, and it's also going to lead to shorter attention spans. But also, I think that it will lead to people being able to receive information, degrees, any sort of certifications that would normally take a year, 2 years, 4 years will now be received in maybe 1 year, because the information is now more accessible than ever, and it's also going to be cheaper than ever. So things are definitely going to move a lot faster in society. And also what we're going to be seeing is that real-time translation of different languages of AI translating for us is going to make communication with anyone in the world more accessible and easier than we've ever seen before. Now, in terms of social media and political movements, we're definitely going to start to see way more political movements, but definitely movements more in the digital space. We might start to see more cyber attacks and political warfare, but definitely taking place more in the digital space. So with all that said, the key themes for the next 8 years with Uranus moving into Gemini is adaptability. So literally it's adapt or get left behind. Okay, like if y'all have ever seen that movie Left Behind, that was not about the rapture. That was about Uranus moving through the sign of Gemini. That was a metaphor. No, but really guys, it's all about adaptability. So it's just allowing things to change and going with the flow. Things are going to be moving so much faster. So it's a really exciting time, really crazy time, but definitely a time where we're going to be expanding so much and so quickly that we're not even going to recognize where we are now from where we are in 8 years. Okay, so moving on to the rising sign. Gotta sip my tea, you know, with my mug from my girl. Look, she kind of looks like me too. Look at that. Hold on. I don't know if you can see her. If I put my hair out, if I had my hair the way it really is, that would be me. I just need some sunglasses. Anyway, moving on to Aries, okay? So Aries rising. So for you, this is taking place in your 3rd house, naturally, of communication, short trips, siblings, and foundational communication. So as Uranus moves through the sign of Gemini in your 3rd house, definitely expect more of an upskill in terms of technology. You might be learning new things, you might be applying different apps, you might be just possibly taking some community college courses, you might just be upskilling in some sort of way, shape, or form over the next 8 years in terms of learning new ways of communication and technology. It could also be too that you might find there are some sudden changes and abrupt things that happen in terms of like your siblings and your community around you. It could be that maybe suddenly, like, hopefully not, this doesn't happen to you, but maybe a sibling dies, or maybe someone's pregnant, or, maybe somebody gets an opportunity and they move away suddenly. There's always going to be some sudden windfall or change surrounding like siblings, possibly neighbors, and even co-workers, something along those lines. Also, you might be expecting like new opportunities for like sudden trips. It might be that your friends are like, hey, let's go to Dollywood, and it might be something that you've never considered, but it's something that expands your mind and maybe allows you to have a bit more fun, really kind of shakes up how you see the world. So definitely expect more short trips, more changes surrounding your immediate family, definitely like siblings, co-workers, and maybe even neighbors. It could be that a neighbor is moving out and it's chaotic and it's noisy for a bit. So just be more flexible in terms of anything that changes in that area of life, and I think that you will be fine for sure. Okay. Now, moving on to Taurus. This is happening in your second house of personal finances and value. So needless to say, this is a transit all about your money, how you make money, how you value your skills, all of that, and then some. So Taurus, you are someone who is naturally used to making your money in a bunch of different ways, or having lots of innovative ideas in terms of how you make your money. You definitely don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, and you're also someone who gets probably very bored very easily. You can't work a traditional 9 to 5 every day for the rest of your life. You might job hop a lot. You might even have a lot of side hustles and things that you do just to kind of make extra money. So as Uranus moves through this sign, it might be that you start to invest more in the digital space. So it could be that you invest more in like stocks and EFTs, or digital coins, things like that. It could also be that you create more innovative things around maybe digital art, digital technology, something along those lines that's going to help you to make money. It could also be too that if you are not in alignment currently with the way that you make money, Uranus might come through your second house, kind of shaking up how you make that money, and it might move you into something else. So you could possibly expect job losses, but you could also probably expect more opportunities to come in as well. Just because Uranus is sudden change, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's always going to be a bad change, but definitely be on the lookout. Like if you're feeling like something's kind of out of alignment, just expect for Uranus to come through and sort of shake that up in terms of how you make your money. And ultimately, it's just going to work for your benefit, because while you already have multiple avenues for money, it might even help you to streamline ways, new and innovative ways that you hadn't even considered, and it might just make it easier for you to make money. All right. Moving on to Gemini. This transit is taking place in your first house of self, body, how you view yourself, all of that. So as Uranus moves through your sign, as someone who is a Taurus rising, and I've been going through this for the last few years, I can tell you for sure, it is not the easiest transit. I mean, you definitely will find that you are a different person from the beginning to the end. But I guess when Uranus has moved through the sign of Taurus, it's been like a slow, grueling, like chiseling away of anything that isn't authentic. Whereas I think Uranus moving through the sign of Gemini is going to be a little bit easier, simply because Uranus rules Aquarius. So it makes that natural trine to Aquarius, Gemini, and an Aquarius. So it should be a little bit easier, especially because Gemini is more of a fluid sign. It's an air sign. So Uranus has different feelers. It has different ways of moving and changing and growing. Whereas in Taurus, it just definitely felt very, very difficult. I'm not even gonna lie. Any of my Taurus risings, if y'all are still here, just let me know. It has been very, very difficult. But anyway, moving on. So as we have Uranus transiting through the sign of Gemini in your first house, you might find that you are more interested in makeovers, more interested in changing your body. It could also be that any relationships, because the first and seventh house axes are basically two sides of the same coin. So any relationships that you're finding that are not in alignment with you are probably gonna be in for a shakeup. You might lose some friends, or you might even find that you start gaining friends as you become more yourself. What Uranus wants you to do is just to break free. It wants you to be yourself without any reservations. It wants you to live your most authentic life. So as Uranus moves through your sign, you're going to start to see that all the things that you've wanted to do, maybe it's a nose job, maybe it's you want to change your hair and you've never dyed your hair, maybe it's that you might have been a people pleaser and now you're just like, I'm done, I'm tired of that. Or maybe it's just that there is a part of your life that you're just like, you know what, I'm completely ready for a change. I don't care what happens anymore. I'm just ready to go. You know, with Uranus on your ascendant, I can definitely say anything that is not in alignment is 110% going to fall away. It's almost like you have like, it's like, I don't know, like a sign on your head, or it's almost like a ticking time bomb where it's like everyone else can fit into this thing, but if you are not doing what you're supposed to do, if this is not moving forward, if this is not innovative, if it's not for your greatest and highest good, I am definitely like, from experience, I can tell you that it's gonna fall away. Like it's gonna be some tower moment or circumstance in which things switch up and change. But ultimately, like I always say, it's always going to be for your complete benefit. You know, it's not going to be you're going to lose this thing because you did something wrong or it's a punishment. It's literally because it's trying to get you to be your most authentic self. So yes, again, over the next 8 years, definitely expect to do more physical changes, having changes in mindset as well, possibly valuing yourself a little bit more, as well as just doing more things that make you happy and not really caring so much what other people think about it. It's definitely a complete like mind, soul, body transformation. It's a complete transformation of the whole. Moving on to Cancer, this is taking place in your 12th house of healing, isolation, and spirituality. So over the next 8 years, you can definitely expect to get more insights, deeper dreams, maybe even some spiritual contact, or maybe some premonition, some insight. Definitely being way more in touch with your spirituality and starting to get those experiences firsthand. I could also say that Uranus moving through the 12th house is going to be very, very healing, psychologically as well as spiritually. Any sort of old wounds, past things from maybe like childhood, even like sort of past life karmic things are going to start to be brought up, and they will definitely be brought up for review so that you can release them once and for all. It's definitely going to be a more quiet, meditative time, but it's also going to be really, really good in terms of allowing you to release what no longer serves you, because a lot of times as we grow up, our families, people around us, they always project things onto us. Maybe who we were when we were 10, when we were 14, when maybe we were in our early 20s. They start to think of us and always have that sort of frame of reference for us. But as we grow, as we get older, we start to grow, and sometimes the image that they had of us doesn't always match us. So as Uranus moves through your 12th house, you might be finding that you're not so affected by old paradigms and what people say. You're more able to let those things go in an easier shape form. You could also find that you are feeling a little bit more introspective. So it might be that you are more into meditation, definitely into like healing and hidden knowledge. You might be reading more books on meditation or some sorts of spiritual practices, or even more philosophies which help you to move through your life in a way that that is more healing and more mature in some ways. So that's going to be a really, really nice time. It's definitely not going to be a super active placement, but it is something that needs to happen in order for you to move forward in a way that is healthy and that is really in your best interest moving into the future. Now, Leo rising, this is going to be taking place in your 11th house of long-term goals, wishes, hopes, dreams, networks, and social circles and friendships. So basically, what this transit is going to do over the next 8 years is that it's probably going to remove old groups of friends who are no longer in alignment with you, and it's definitely going to add new circles of friends. So you're definitely going to find that you're going to be connecting with people that you never thought that was possible, maybe more futuristic groups, more techie groups, just people that are probably going to help connect you and definitely change your mind about a lot of things. In terms of your long-term goals, it might be that you start to see that the things that you had always hoped for, dreamed of, those things slowly start to change. And as you meet with these different groups of people, they might be innovative in a way that helps you to reformulate your path and go after your goals in a much different way. But it's definitely going to be a time of reinvention in terms of your social circle. It's going to be a lot of fun too. And it's definitely going to probably take you to places that you've never been, not just physically, but also probably mentally, and definitely expand your horizon in terms of how you think about life. Virgo rising. So Virgo rising, this is taking place in your 10th house of career and public image. So needless to say, your career is definitely going to undergo some serious changes. If your career feels too stuffy or too stifling, it's definitely going to be something that is going to have to change within the next 8 years. It might even be that you find you need to go into more entrepreneurship. You might need to find something that's definitely more in alignment with you. It could be even that you want to do something more like tech based, or you might want to do something more innovative with your time and your energy in order to make money. Now, as Uranus transits the 10th house is at the very top of our chart, and this is kind of our public reputation as well. So over the next 8 years, it's definitely important to be careful about what you say and kind of be careful in terms of how you do things, simply because one wrong move could definitely kind of set off a whole chain reaction. I mean, even if you don't mean to, it could possibly be that maybe you say one thing and it becomes the talk of the town. So definitely being more careful in terms of like your public reputation, but it could also be that you have great windfalls of success. So all of the success and all of the time and effort that you've put into your career so far might shoot you straight to the top, and that could be something that's really amazing as well. But it could also be the very opposite, and you could kind of have a fall from grace. So definitely being more careful in terms of your career, but doing things that are definitely in alignment, and not being afraid of leaving your job if it doesn't feel in alignment with you, and creating something new, or getting with other people who are into more things that feel good to you. Definitely it's all about living your most authentic life in terms of your career, being your most authentic self and doing something that aligns with your values and that is definitely moving you forward. Okay, so moving on to Libra rising. Now Libras, this is going to be in your 9th house of higher learning, philosophy, and travel. So needless to say, this is going to be 8 years of traveling, of getting more knowledge on different philosophies, possibly learning new languages, definitely upskill in terms of what you know. It could be that you lock into a more traditional religious philosophy, or it might be that you completely switch and you expand your view of the world. But either way, it's going to be a really fun time in terms of you being able to try different things, meet different people. It's definitely going to be a time of expansion in terms of how you see the world, and definitely in terms of the people that you meet are definitely going to expand your world a lot more. It could also be that it could also be, as well as travel opportunities, there might be unexpected travel opportunities, or you might even do things around AI driven learning. So maybe you're trying to learn a language, and maybe something like Duolingo is going to have like a crazy AI program where you can learn a language in 3 months or something like that. So definitely a lot more expansion in terms of knowledge, philosophy, traveling. It's going to be super fun. It might even be that you go to another country and you find how far ahead and advanced their stuff is, and it inspires you to bring it back home and sort of adopt those new ways of being as well. So definitely a super fun time in terms of the next 8 years, and I would definitely be looking forward to it if I were you, for sure, for sure. Now for Scorpio rising, this is going to be taking place in your 8th house of death, sex, taxes, transformation, shared investments, and finances. So in the 8th house, this is definitely going to be a time of you having a little bit more deep introspection. It could also be a time where you start to either reap the benefits of maybe past investments like crypto, stocks and bonds, or any other thing that you may have invested in. You may have great windfalls, or it could also be that you might lose money as well. It could also be that any shared finances that you have with your partner may go through some ups and downs, or you may just sort of decide that you guys want to change how you do things, how you share your money. That whole dynamic might just completely switch, and you might just think, hey, maybe let's not have a shared bank account. Maybe it's better if we each do our own thing. It could also be too that your partner has a great change in their financial situation, so they can make a lot of money. So whatever investments that they've had, it definitely takes off in their business. Maybe they get a promotion, or it could be even as changeable as maybe they lose a job. Hopefully it's not that, but you know, definitely the financial situation could be up and down. So I would just put some money away for a rainy day and just kind of be a little bit more on the safe side in terms of finances, and especially investments. Investments definitely need to take a look at those and make sure that those are good. Like maybe be constantly watching them more closely than normal. I would also say during this 8-year period, I would refrain from, and this is not financial advice. It ain't financial advice. I don't know nothing. I don't know. But basically, I would refrain from getting out any new loans and any new credit cards, anything that allows you to borrow money. I would kind of hold off and refrain from doing that. I would just kind of work within your budget and within your current bounds, if that makes sense. It could also be too that when it comes to you and your partner's intimate life, you guys might be experimenting a lot more often, or you guys might even just want to shake things up. So be ready for that, whatever that means for you in your personal life, but that could be something that is really, really fun and really interesting. It could also be too that you start to learn more about occult practices, mysticism, much like the 9th house, but a little bit more in terms of transforming how you are completely. So that's going to be something to look forward to. Okay, so for Sagittarius rising, Uranus in Gemini is going to be transiting your 7th house of partnerships, contracts, and business dealings. So as we have this moving through our 7th house, it could definitely be that you meet some unconventional partners, some partners that you never considered. It could also be that any current relationships might have a shakeup. It could definitely lead to divorce if things are already on the rocks. But if it's not already on the rocks, it could be that you have an expansion in terms of how you connect with each other. You might find that you guys, instead of going to the same restaurant every week, you guys might want to switch it up and start to travel, or maybe you guys want to go and do some paintball or do different things. So definitely a little bit more of a changeable dynamic in your relationship, and it could be for the better. As a matter of fact, it could allow you to be more expansive in your relationship. It could also be more open communication as well. So any business dealings that you have might be related to media, AI, or any sort of emerging technologies. So that might be a good idea if you are looking to invest or if you are looking to start a business. Definitely something around emerging technologies for sure. It could also be too that you might attract highly independent or non-conventional partners if you don't already have one. So that's going to be something that's really fun to look forward to. And especially as Uranus transits Gemini and we start to see different styles and different people just coming out of their box and their inner alien just kind of showing itself. It's definitely going to be interesting in terms of the people that you attract, and it could definitely be a good story. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is somebody that you're going to be with long term. We definitely need to look at other transits for that. But in terms of like having fun and just enjoying your life with this new kind of fun person, it's definitely going to help you to expand in ways that you never thought about before. And yeah, that's going to be something to for sure look forward to if you're not already in a relationship. Now Capricorn, this is going to be taking place in your 6th house of health, routines, and everyday work. So in the next 8 years, you might find that you have innovative solutions around taking care of your body, taking care of your health. It might be that you find new spa treatments and new ways of eating that align more easily to how you operate in your life. It could also be that if you're starting to feel stifled in your work or your job situation, that you might be more inclined to leave. If there's any sort of like boss or management that seems to be too restrictive, it might start to feel suffocating and you might start to want to do more freelance work, or you might want to start to do more independent work, maybe even experiment with hybrid work, whatever it is that's going to give you the sort of flexibility that you need to get your work done. It could also be that if you are in a space where you're starting to feel stressed out, definitely stressors can be something to look out for, as they will have direct consequences on your health. But as long as you're just keeping up with your body, making sure that you're getting enough water, enough exercise, enough sleep, you should be fine during this 8-year transit. It could also be too that you might just be breaking free of strict routines from day to day and just going with the flow. Even if you try to have a routine with Uranus going through your 6th house, it might just be kind of impossible. Whatever happens, it's one of those things where you're like, okay, I have to roll with the punches, because the more you fight against what's going on, the harder it's going to be. So if you plan to do something and you deviate, okay, cool. Just let it be, let it go, let it flow, and just know that like this transit is not going to last forever, but it's definitely something where you need to just allow yourself, give yourself a little bit of a break, especially as a Capricorn rising. You definitely have a lot of high expectations for yourself. So moving forward, you have to be a little bit more fluid. Again, as I said at the very beginning of the video, it's all about adaptability, and especially for a Capricorn rising, with Uranus moving through your 6th house of day-to-day work and health routines, you definitely have to be more adaptable. On the other side too, you could also find that there are more innovative ways to exercise and all kinds of really fun stuff that you can experiment with as well. So that's just something that's going to be really fun to look forward to for the next 8 years. Okay, so Aquarius rising, this is going to be taking place in your 5th house of romance and dating and your inner child. So over the next 8 years, you're probably going to find that you're going to be experimenting a lot more with AI generated art and different more innovative techniques around your creativity. You could also find that your dating and your love life is going to be a lot more unpredictable. So it could be that you have some different like flings, on and off situations, things like that. Much like people who have Uranus transiting their 7th house, whoever comes into your life at this point in time is not necessarily somebody who will be there long term. We would definitely need to look at more like other placements for that. But for the time being, I would just enjoy the moment, enjoy who you're hanging around, and be open to experimentation, because as I said at the very beginning, Uranus transiting the sign of Gemini might make you more open to, you know, fluidity and just different things. So just open your mind, expand who you're dating, and, you know, just have fun with it. Over the next 8 years, if you have any children, you might, if you're of age, you might find that they move out of the house, or that dynamic in your home starts to change. Or you might find that your children start to want more independence, and you're going to have to figure out how to allow them that space while also continuing to protect them as well. Now, if you are someone who does not want to be pregnant, the 5th house of children, having Uranus transit it, could also welcome unexpected pregnancy. So if you are of childbearing age and you do not want a child, please protect yourself, as this is very much a possibility for the next 8 years. Okay. Now, last but not least, for Pisces rising, this transit is taking place in your 4th house of home, family, legacy, and your foundation. So as Uranus moves through your 4th house, expect home changes. It could be that you move out of your house and that you might start, bouncing from couch to couch. Maybe your lease is up and it might take a little minute for you to get some stability in terms of your home base. Or it might be that you feel that you have too much house and you need to downsize, or you might decide that you want to move abroad. In some way, shape, or form, your home situation is going to change. It might even expand in terms of maybe you get married and you have a partner. Maybe you start to live in a more non-traditional way, but definitely expect some sort of changes moving about in the home. Now, your family relationships may become a little bit unpredictable, but again, just go with the flow, just allow things to be. It may be that much like with Uranus moving through your 3rd house, you start to find that there might be some unpredictable family situations. So maybe somebody moves, maybe someone's pregnant, maybe someone passes away. It could be inheritance as well. So just be more open and just allow things to happen as they must, but don't stress out so much, even though your family might make you want to rip your hair out, for sure. Because whose family doesn't make them want to rip their hair out? Like, come on, who doesn't? It may also be as well that you are starting to think about what home and security means for you. So home might not just be the place that you live, but home might be the people that you call family. You might start to rethink how you look at your life and how you structure your home and what stability means for you. For some people, stability is being able to have enough money in the bank to move from country to country, and you just kind of live the nomadic life. For some people, stability is a big house with a white picket fence, 2.5 kids, and a dog. So it's really you just trying to figure out, okay, what makes me feel the best? What makes me feel the most authentic? And how can I live the most authentically? Is it a non-traditional way where, we might live in a tiny house? Or is it in a way that even you haven't experienced yet? So either way, just be expecting something around your family and your home situation to change in the next 8 years, but allow it to be a surprise, because Uranus loves freaking surprises. So just expect the unexpected in terms of your home situation, but don't fret. Just remember that as things change, something else is changing. If one door closes, metaphorically, definitely another one will open. Okay? All right, with all of that being said, thank you all so much for watching the Dark Venus channel. I cannot wait to hear from you guys. Please leave comments below if I miss anything. If you have any thoughts, any opinions, I would love to hear from you. Also, please follow my Instagram at The Dark Venus. I will link it somewhere, either on the screen or below. I would love for you guys to follow me. I do free pick a cards on there all the time. So if you guys want, little mini readings for free, definitely go ahead and hit up my Instagram. I also offer readings on my Planoly website, which I will also be linking down below as well. So if you guys are interested in any astrology readings, any card readings, tarot readings, whatever, I got you guys. Anyway, thank you again so much. It has been a pleasure, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.